Hey, Richard Bryce here. Today I'm going to be talking about string tension and string setup, whether or not you've got the right or wrong setup and you need to change it so that you can improve your tennis. I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, it'd be awesome if you give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to my channel. So the type of strings you use and the tension that you have them at, it's obviously kind of an important part of the kit because it's the thing that makes contact with the racket, and different tensions and strings create a different effect on the ball. The general way that you want to think about this is the tighter the string, the more control, the looser the string, the more power. But depending on what level you play at, my recommendation is going to be not to worry about it all that much. And this video is kind of more of a mindset training video. I know I've been a little bit deceptive in the title, but I'm making this video to help you understand what you might need to do to improve and what you might need to focus on and where your energy shouldn't be spent. Because it's not that strings aren't important, because they can be, but unless you're playing at a much higher level, I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. Like when you watch the best players in the world play, they go to professional tournaments, they have strings that they often string every single match. They've got a fresh set of rackets at every match. They know exactly what tension they're getting. Often they have a couple of different tensions. And the reason they do that is because when they're playing at a different altitude and maybe they're feeling something different from their opponent, and it's just not quite right, they can change it out for a different tension. But these guys and girls, they're like finely tuned racing cars. They are unbelievable. The level of precision they've got is very different to me, and is very different to potentially you if you're watching this video. Now, if you were to give me, you know, a racket strung at 55 pounds with natural gut and a poly, I would be able to feel and tell the difference. If you give me a natural gut strung at 55 and a natural gut strung at 52, I'll be able to tell the difference, and the same with a poly. So I'm not saying that I can't feel the difference on my strings, but what I want to encourage you to do is to spend your mental energy working on the things that are going to make you a better tennis player. Like if you just love the techie stuff, there's kind of loads of advice and forums that will break down the nuances, and they'll go and talk about this and this, and you know, a bit of research from Sheffield about the, you know, exactly what happens from the reaction and all this stuff. And if you love that stuff, go ahead, check it out. But if you're kind of wondering if the string tension you're using is the reason that you keep hitting the ball long, it isn't. Now, if you've got a more relaxed string, it's potentially going to get a little bit more power. And if you've got a tighter string, it's going to give you more control. So maybe a more relaxed string is going to hit it longer, and a tighter string is going to hit it shorter, and it'll stop going out. But that really isn't the way it works. It is about you being able to feel and control the angle of your racket head relative to the speed of your swing, with the ball coming at you, getting the timing and the spacing and all that stuff right. That is the stuff that controls whether the ball lands out. You know, forehand, make contact like that. Perfect shot, make contact like that. Back fence, make contact like that. Bounces before the net. That's what we're talking about in terms of control. So if you're really struggling to kind of find consistency with your game, honestly, do not worry about the string tension. I have no idea what string tension is in this racket right now. My good friend Tim strings them for me. I give them to me, they come back to me. The way I personally do it is I use a poly, because I want it to last a long time. I don't want to have to keep on restringing brackets. It's really annoying. It can get expensive. So I don't want to have to deal with any of that stuff. So I get a thick polyester string because they last a long time. I get both of my rackets strung at the same time, at the same tension, and then I alternate between them. So I play one day, I use this one. I play another day, I use the other one. And that way they're always going to be about the same tension, because as you know, as soon as you start using them, the tension goes down. So this one's been in a couple, well, I've probably played with it for about 2 hours now. So it's going to be less than whatever it was when it was strung. And maybe when it was strung it was 52, maybe when it was strung it was 55. I don't know. I would have to ask Tim what he did. But the reason I'm kind of saying it and explaining it like this to you is because, honestly, it doesn't matter that much. I am not a terrible player. I'm not an amazing player either. I'm probably about a 5.5, and I can feel the differences in these things, but I've been destroyed by so many players that are better than me before I really know my place. So I want you to understand the context that I'm saying this stuff in, and depending what level you're at now, I'm trying to get you to think about things in a certain way. But what we can both agree on is that if I gave this racket right now in its current form to Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, any player on tour, probably any player playing at college, without ever using my racket and my setup before, they would probably beat me. And the reason they would beat me isn't because of the string setup, it's because they're better players than me. So I know that sounds a bit self-deprecating, but I'm okay with that. It's the reality of the situation. Strings are strings, but what I can focus on and what you can focus on are really spending your mental energy on addressing the things that are going to make you a better player. So obviously learning tactics, working on your technique, and some of the big things that I preach and talk about are working on your movement so you can get to the ball, working on your vision so you've got better reactions and tracking, and focusing your energy on working on the stuff that's really going to make you a better tennis player and not worrying about whether the strings are holding you back. On that note, if you haven't already got my free Tennis Vision Starter Program, I'll place the link down below and I'll place the link up there. I think about 500 people have taken them by now, which means I've got a couple of thousand subscribers that haven't got it. It's a free program. Vision is so important in tennis. If you haven't got it, I highly advise you grab it. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, it'd be awesome if you give me a thumbs up. If you now hate me for deceiving you into watching a mindset and focus video and disguising it as a string video, then feel free to leave me some nasty comments down below as well. I just enjoy hearing from you and I want to help you become a better player.